right, Mr. Thomas, sir. Please go ahead and introduce yourself once more. Let the people know where you've been. And the floor is all yours, sir. Go ahead and do what you do, my friend.
All right, what's up, everybody? They call me Rascal. I'm from Orange County, West Side, Fullerton, Baker Street. Everybody knows me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be doing things. But anyways, I've been a Sureño. I was Sureño for 17 years. And then over, some politicking and backstabbing, I ended up getting hurt. I ended up getting stabbed 11 times, and I dropped out, became a 2-5er, right? And I've done a whole bunch of stuff when I was active and a whole bunch of stuff when I wasn't active, right? But still, I was 2-5 active, and I was banging that to the fullest, too. The only reason why I left all that was because I wanted to go home. You mean I got a wife waiting for me on the street, and I finally realized that wasn't for me anymore. But what I want to do today is I want to talk to everybody out there. I want to tell you guys about what really happened with the Zapatista and 2-5 war. I was part of that. I was from the beginning to the end. It's still going on right now, but I was a part of it.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Because there's a lot of different stories out there on the internet, people just telling bullshit stories that this happened, but that's not what happened. I'm going to give you guys the real, exclusive, what went down, okay? It all started with the homie Troubles. Black Troubles, we call him. He was a Crip, but he was a 2-5er. He got into it a little dead at the time with some Zapatistas. And Zapatistas and us, we've had an ongoing, it hasn't been a war, but it's been a feud because they've been envious of the 2-5ers. They've been wanting to establish themselves, but we've been in every prison, and we've been the ones pushing everything, pushing the dope, you know what I'm saying, and basically controlling everything. They've been envious of us, right? So this was all in Kern Valley. And so Troubles owed this Zapatista money, and when he went over to collect with him, Troubles was all drunk, and he told him, hey, homie, you want your money? Come collect it with blood. So that fool's all right, motherfucker, well, I'm going to stab you, but he's behind the door, right? So Troubles walks away, and this fool calls the homie over, and he goes, look, your homeboy disrespected me at the door. Either you guys take care of him, or we're going to take care of him. And us being who we are, we were like, well, who the f*** think you are? This is our yard. You got us up, right? So what the homies decided was all right, well, when we come out, we're going to get on this fool. We're going to beat the f*** out of him and hurt him, right? So when they came out, when we all came out in Kern Valley, it was a little standoff. Nothing happened that day, right? And then the next day, a little melee occurred. I wasn't there, but the homies were all they've all told me about it in the hole and everything. I know firsthand what happened. So it was going back and forth. They got in a little melee, right? So after this little melee, everyone called it okay, it's cool, everything's over. But the homies, being who they are, they're nah, it's not over. What we're going to do is we're going to call peace, and then we're all going to bang her up, and we're going to go out there and blast all of them. So that's what happened. They were yeah, we're good. And then next yard, the homies came out, and they stabbed 15 of them, right? And then one fool, he wasn't a Zapatista, he jumped in for him, right? They called him Champ, right? After Champ got into it, them fools still wanted peace, and they were we're good. But the homies were all right, well, we want to know, is that fool involved? Is he part of you guys? And they were no, he's not part of us. So the next day at yard, the homies are all right, we're going to move on this fool Champ because he's not a Zapatista. We're going to remove him. Right, so the bros volunteered, and they were going to blast him. Well, the homies ran over there and started stabbing this fool Champ. Well, the Zapatistas jumped in again, right, for him, even though they said that he was a part of them. So he jumped in for him, and anyways, they ended up stabbing some of the bros. From that moment on, it's been nonstop guerra, nonstop, right? They've tried to call peace a few times, right, but we say no. Well, maybe it was 2 years ago, right, we had a homeboy named Sid. This is why this war will never, ever stop, no matter what, ever. It will never go on until one of us are wiped out completely, right? 2 years ago, we had a homie Sid, and by that time in Kern Valley, they had Zapatistas and 2-5ers. We were separated, right? And they kept everyone separated because they knew it was on site. Well, there was some step backs, and basically a step back is somebody that stepped back from the gang. They got stripped. They're no longer part of the gang. Basically, what I am right now, right? Like I stepped back, I got stripped and all that. But so these step backs, were on the other side, and they were with the two fibers at the time, but they weren't pushing nothing, so they were allowed to program on that yard. Well, they got a kite from the active Zapatistas, and this kite is telling all of them, like, look, man, now's your chance to come back. If you want to come back, if you left on bad standings and you want to come back, here is your time. Blast one of these two fibers, right? So two of them took up that, right? Took up the knife to do it, to come back. And the homie Sid, he was an Asian bro, he got called out for medical, and his celly, and at that time we had like a little agreement that no brother would come out by himself. So when he was walking out, the cop says, and the cop Furlong, he set the bro up. I know he did, you know. So he's walking out, and Furlong tells his celly, no, you go back in, just him by himself. So right. So the homie Sid walks out, Furlong stops him, pats him down to make sure he has no knife, and lets him go outside. Well, these two Zapatistas are waiting right outside the door for him, right? These stepbacks, wanting to earn their bones back into their gang. So as soon as he walked out, the little bro, he's about 5'5", right? He's small, 5'5", about 120. They start plugging him, right? And they start stabbing him. And he ends up dying. They end up killing him on the yard, right? They stabbed him in the neck, they stabbed him in the heart, he ended up dying, right? From that moment on, it was over. Like, full war, nonstop. Well, in Tehachapi, at that time, the bros, they weren't acknowledging all the wheelers coming from Kern Valley saying, hey, get off on the Zapatistas, get off on the Zapatistas, right? And the Zapatistas over there, that's where I was at the time, were scared, and they would walk up to us and be like, look, man, everything's good, right? Everything's good. And we'd be like, yeah, what happens over there stays over there, right? But all at the same time, we have homies from Kern Valley showing up. They're showing up. And these fools, they're not playing now. Now they're telling us about Sid and how we need to get our run back. So we're going to Santa Muerte services, and we're setting everything up, right? It's supposed to happen in October after third draw, right? Canteen, because we know we're going to be on lockdown for a while, so we want to gather up our canteen, right? So we're gathering up. We're going to Santa Muerte. Nobody wants to take it up upon themselves to kick off the war. Nobody. Because if a brother gets hurt, then there's going to be blood on their hands, and it might fall back on them. So all I hear, I'm there, and I hear nothing but this crying. So I'm like, you know what? I'll kick this off. I got this. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, are you sure? And then when I say that, the homie Flea from Longo, he's like, I'm right behind you, bro. And I'm like, all right, so it's us. So we wait until third draw is about to come. Well, Zapatistas come up to us, and they're like, look, man, we just heard that you guys are supposed to rock us after third draw. Is that right? So now it just basically fucks up everything, right? So we're like, nah, that's bullshit. Like, who said this? Well, they said that the homie did it, right? But the homie never did it. See, they came, they didn't like the homie Maniac, so what they did is they smutted him up. We're like, oh, we heard from a Maniac. And we're like, oh, is that true? Well, if that's true, he's gone, right? So the homies in 4 Block, without permission, ended up taking a vote and stripping the brother, right? He's here with me as I speak, right? He's right next door to me. But anyways, so they ended up stripping him, and now we have to put it off again. All the bros are getting these little, they're like the oven plates that you put food on in the main kitchen, right? And
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They don't go off in the metal detector, so we're having homies bring these big old fucking metal pans home, and we're cutting them up, and we're buying people's crutches because crutches don't go off, and we're cutting them up, and we're getting ready, right? Well, the day of the riot, when we're supposed to rock this shit, the homie comes out, and he's supposed to go home that day, the homie Chucky, right? So we're having a back and forth like, well, what's going to go on? Are we going to kick it off? Chucky wants to go home, right? Let's put it off for one day. Well, we all agreed to put it off for one more day so Chucky can go home, right? So when that happens, we have all our knives out there. Something kicks off with the riders. They put the yard down because they stabbed somebody, right? So the hooders come and they sweep. So all the homies start tossing their knives, right? They start tossing them and burying them. They found 26 knives in our area and locked it down for like another month. So that now we're defenseless. We're supposed to kick this war off, and we have no knives. So we're over here trying to gather up more bangers. Like, what's up, man? Like, what's up? You have crutches. Hey, bring home some more metal from the kitchen. And we're doing all that. And we're trying to hurry up as much as possible because we already came to an agreement. The first time we come off a lockdown at yard, we're rocking it. Right? So a month goes down. We don't have no store. No third draw came. We have no store, but we're gonna rock it. It's time to move. We get all our bangers. We push outside. Right? We have morning yard, and we're all outside, and we gather up. We know what we're supposed to do. Every one of us has a buddy, right? Well, the Zapatistas, they know something is going on. They know something's going on. So what they do is they get all their homeboys, and they push up against the wall by the handball court, and they're waiting, and they're just staring at us, like kneeling down, like posted up, but they're staring directly at our table. Our table is right across from that handball court, right? So they're staring at us, and we're just waiting, and we're like trying to come up. So we just run across and get them, or should we just wait? Well, it happens to be pill call. They're like, pill call, get ready for pill call, right? So we're like, all right, we're going to do it right now when pill call walks by. Well, me and Flea are waiting right there. We're trying to gather all the bros up, but they're walking around. They're being like idiots, like they're not placed where they're supposed to be. So we're waiting, and one Zapatista walks by. His name's Sporty, and he walks up the little hill. He goes to Mayline, and Flea's like, hey, Rascal, let's just run up there and start blasting this fool. And I'm like, nah. Here comes Siete, right? Well, Siete comes, and when he walks up, when Siete walks up, the homie Leche at the time, he jumps the gun, walks up to the guy, puts out his hand like he's going to shake it. And when he shakes his hand, Leche hits him, bam! And that's like backpedals and kind of like tripping over himself. And me and Flea and all the bros, we run across like from here to the canteen window, which is about 15 feet, right? And we have him pushed up against there, and he's being stabbed. Bam, bam, bam. He's getting bangered out, blitzed. Well, this fool tries to pull out his knife. Well, he has at least like 10 people on him, all stabbing him, right? And he's trying to pull out his knife. Well, when he pulled out his knife before he could hit somebody, someone hit him in the right spot, and his hands opened up, and he dropped his banger on the floor. So one of the bros grabbed it and started stabbing him with his own knife, right? So he's right there, and he's like taking it. He's not covered up. He's standing up trying to fight back, but he can't. He's being overwhelmed. Well, he starts slowly going down the wall. And when he's going down the wall, he keeps it gangster, the most gangsterous thing I have ever seen. He goes, fuck you, motherfucker, while he's going down to the floor. And we're just digging him out, and he had the nuts to be like, fuck you, motherfucker. Well, all his homeboys, when it kicked off, they all got scared and took off.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Besides 5 of them. 5 of them jumped in, right? And every one of those 5 got airlifted out of there, right? So I'm blasting all these fools, and all the bros come running up. And when I see that, I'm like, man, there's all kinds of fools on him. So I go over to another fool named Japs, and I start handling my thing with him. I turn around, there's all the homies. There's like 15 on each person, right? And these fools are just getting it back, right? Well, the Hudas come in, they're shooting bombs. Well, everybody ran away, and they left Siete right there to die on. So like I was saying, Siete, like, all his homeboys took off running, right? Except for 5 of them. Those fools, I can say, were honestly with the business and tried to help their homie. 2 of them just got made. They were like prospects, you know. So they actually ran in to help the guy, right? But the rest of them, 2 of them we didn't even see. They were hiding behind store bags, right? So this happened, and we're blasting all these fools. These fools are hiding. They're shooting the cop. Now the cops shoot, boom, right? They're throwing bombs. They're shooting. We're still stabbing this fool, and we're running across. We're like, I end up going over to Japs. I see like 6 homies on him. I end up getting on this fool, right? And we're kicking him in the face like we're trying to kill this dude. Well, the cops after that, they end up putting the yard down, and they're throwing bombs, and we're doing all this, right? So the homies, what we do is there's a hill right by the canteen, and we run up the hill. We start tossing all our knives, right? We start tossing all our knives. Everyone else, these Zapatistas, there's a gate that separates the wall from the lower to the higher, right? When these guys when it kicked off, they got so scared they ran over through the gate all the way over to 5 Block, and they shut the gate so we couldn't run after them, right? So they left all their homies on that side to die, and every one of them got hurt and airlifted, like I said. So once we all go up this little here, we toss. I have blood all over me. So I'm telling my homie Dopey, I'm like, what do I do? He's like, hey, we start spitting on my hands, and I'm wiping my hands, and like we're burying stuff and all kinds of stuff, right? So we're trying to get rid of all the evidence and stuff like that, right? So after that, once we get the cops come, they do like a little perimeter check. They make sure everybody's down and everything's clear while they come with these plexi cuffs, right? And they're like handcuffs, but they're plastic, and they pull them real tight, and there's no way to get out of them. So they plexi cuffs up behind our back, right? And they do it to everybody on the yard. Well, these two fools that were hiding behind the store bag, as soon as we all got handcuffed behind our back, they got up and they ran over to our table where the couple of the homies were at, prone down. They start kicking them in the head, bam, bam, right? And they did that. They did that because they were trying to show face, like, hey, we did something. So the homies are trying to get up, handcuffed, and they can't do it. And these fools are kicking them, bam, 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 right? So the cops come and they throw them on the floor. Right, Siete's over there in the corner, and he has his homeboy Rascal holding him. Right, he's on his back and he's holding him. Right, we're all handcuffed, and I hear Rascal telling him, please don't die, please don't die. Right, and us being idiots, right, I hear homies being like, die, mother 2-5, hurry up and die, woke gang, and all that, you know. And me, like an idiot, I'm over here hearing all this. I have to throw in my 2 cents, and I'm like, oh, cancel Christmas, you know, like. And all this for like some bullshit, you know what I'm saying? This fool, he has to get airlifted out, right? He got stabbed in the heart. He almost died. He had to get his chest cut open so they could save him. He's never gonna be the same, you know. Every single one had to get airlifted. Every one of those fools almost died. Their heart stopped. It was a big thing, you know. Like, I've been through all kinds of stuff, you know, and. Like, I'm here to tell you, everybody out there, that it's not for me anymore. It's not for you. You know, this shit isn't what it used to be. It sounds cool. It sounds cool. Hell yeah, like it's cool to watch in a movie. But when you're there and when you see this, and now that you've changed and you remember what that guy looked like, how his face was, like, that shit affects you. That shit affects you forever. So if you guys are thinking about, like, doing stuff, or like you think this is type of lifestyle for you, it's not, homeboy. You know, go another route. And that's all I want to say to the viewers out there. Hey, Tony, I appreciate you giving me the chance to tell my story, and you guys stay up.